ESPN liberal soy boy Kirk Herbstreit, he's just so outraged about the fights this weekend that took place in college football. It all started when teams that won try to plant their flag in the middle of the fields of their rival and opponent. Some fights broke out, punches were thrown, pushing and shoving, typical things that 20-year-old men like to do. But that's too much for Herbstreit. Mr. Self-Righteous. Hey, Kirk, how come you're not this outraged when grown men are playing in women's sports? How come you don't show the same type of veracity for, justice and righteousness, huh, Kirk? You know why? Because you're a piece of garbage, Kirk. You're a paid shill for ESPN who paints the liberal and the democratic narrative that there's toxic masculinity in college football. Really? So what should they do, Herbstreit? They should all sit down for a cup of tea at the 50-yard line. Let's have a cup of tea and talk about our differences. Is that what you want? You want them to have cups of tea and maybe some cake so they could settle their differences at the 50-yard line? Is that what you want, Herbstreit? I can't stand you. A guy who's broke down multiple times during segments and cried on air, cried about politics, cried about his dog. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my dog. I love my dog more than anything. But our relationship is between me and him, not for the world to see. But Herbstreit, he's an emotional mess. He's trying to show you his feminine side. He doesn't think that college football should be masculine. No more hitting, no more blitzing, no more too deep safeties. No, it's all cupcakes and Twinkies and let's have some tea and do some coloring books and read poems to each other because God forbid some 20-year-old kids with super high testosterone have the urge to want to be combative with each other. Well, I got news for you, Kirk. That's what 20-year-old males are supposed to be like with each other. That's what little boys are supposed to play rough and tumble with each other. No one was hurt, Kirk. Nobody got jumped. Nobody broke any. Even if they did break some bones, even if they did get a black eye, who cares? Who cares? It was great football. Some pushing and shoving broke out. Who cares? But it's not enough for Kirk. They should all do hula hoops at the 50-yard line, wear dresses. They're all going to wear pink uniforms, whether it's cancer awareness or not. We're just going to feminize everything for Herbstreit. The man who, like I said before, likes to get on ESPN all the time and show his sensitive side, his emotional side, his feminine side. He's a disgrace. Let's jump into the article. ESPN's Kirk Herbstreit demands stiffer penalties for players involved in flag fights. Several fights occurred over the weekend because of flag planting incidents. Like I said, where's self-righteous Kirk when grown men are playing in women's sports? Where's all his outrage? Where's he going to take a stand? Wonder why he doesn't do that at ESPN. Kirk Herbstreit's ESPN's college football analyst called for steeper consequences for the players involved in the handful of flag fights over the weekend. At least 3 games saw brawls ensue over players trying to plant flags on their opponents' fields. A 4th fight occurred during the Arizona State-Arizona game because of Sun Devils players trying to plant a pitchfork at midfield. He makes me sick. The Big Ten Conference announced $100,000 in fines for Michigan and Ohio State after their melee. but Herbstreit wanted suspension for those involved in the fracas. Hey, Herbstreit, shut the F up. Shut up. Maybe they should suspend you from the network so you shut up already. No, it's not good enough. Let's ruin some teenagers' lives who have dreams and aspirations to play in the NFL because they might have pushed another player after a game or thrown a punch. You remember the 80s and 90s? The melees before the game even started? Forget after the game. Notre Dame, Miami. I mean, there was numerous fights between numerous teams. Everybody calmed down, brushed it off, played an entire football game, and then shook hands when it was over. But what else would you expect from liberal soy boy Kirk Herbstreit? I can't stand this guy. You know, all the tears that Kirk Herbstreit has shed during live segments of ESPN. Kirk, is the wife buying you some pink thongs for Christmas? Wouldn't be surprised. I think any conference, this is Kirk Herbstreit's tweet. I think any conference commissioner who had a team or teams involved in a post-game fight owes it to his conference and the sport of college football to study the film very closely and sit anyone who is involved in being aggressor to help escalate the situation, sit those involved for... You get the point. He wants guys to be punished. Can I call them guys, Kirk? Can I call the players men, guys, boys? Is that okay, Kirk? Do I have your permission? Do you want me banned from YouTube because I didn't use a proper pronoun? Huh, Kirk? Should I call them they, them? Would that make you happy? Another clown. Hey, Kirk, take all the fake outrage and the self-righteousness and apply it to things that really matter. Grown men playing women's sports, breaking their noses, legs, ribs, taking opportunities away from them. How about child mutilation, a big thing in the United States now, Kirk? You know, where we have teachers in classrooms who are telling little boys and girls they can change their gender just by getting a surgery and then they go get mutilated. It's a big business now, Kirk. You know, gender reassignment centers, the centers where they do the surgeries, there used to only be one or two around the country. Now they're everywhere because it's a business, Kirk. How come you don't take the same sense of self-righteousness and apply it to something as evil as that? You know why, Herbstreit? You're a coward, you're full of you-know-what, and you need to shut up already. Make me sick. Try being a man for once, Kirk. No, let's ruin some 20-year-old kid's life who wants to take the next step to play in the NFL because he might have pushed somebody after a game. You're a loser, Kirk. I hope you get fired. Merry Christmas.